details with you guys. I sure will. Yes, why not? So, what's going to happen on this network here at Spreaker? Who's not having fun here? If you're not having fun, fucking A. I wouldn't want to be here. I'll leave here if I stop having fun. That's for fucking sure. God damn that. I like connecting with people. This is one of my favorite ways to connect with people because I can turn you guys off. That makes me happy. I don't have to, oh shit, he's coming over again. God damn it, get everything ready. I gotta find my phone, so I don't know if my headset will last all the way to where I have to go. Where the fuck is it? Yes, cat on tap. I know. Well, he doesn't come till December 24th, so don't worry about him right now. Yeah, I'm saying how I think he's gonna fucking kill that motherfucking red bastard. He doesn't understand sneezing, so that's unfortunate, but I explained it to him. Yes, I know. I can't prove that he's good. You'll just have to wait and see. Maybe he'll bring you cat treats. Yeah, that's the kitty cat. So my fucking phone's long gone, is it? God damn it. I put on my chucks and lace them. Mr. White says sex in stairwells before security cams. Just took close. Oh, I thought you were all out of everything, guy. I was worried about you, man. Because there's not much worse than if you're on a regular anti-anxiety medication or pain medication or even an antidepressant to suddenly stop it. Oh, my God. Depending on the medication, how long you've been taking it, what dose, that can fuck your world up. You know, I've had doctors try every kind of medication there is on me. And all of them work until your tolerance builds, and then they stop. Anything that's narco-based. So, yeah, that's why I don't even mess with that anymore. But after my surgery, I'm definitely going to have to go on something heavy other than the kratom that I take. Kratom, call it what you will. I like it. It's a steady kind of a painkiller. If you take too much, you will throw up, so you can't really abuse it. And for some reason, as long as I change strains, all it is a tree leaf ground up. So if I change leaves, go from, say, white Borneo to green Mangda, or what I got coming this time is, what is it called? It's called green Bali, B-A-L-I. So as long as I change that up some, I never develop a tolerance to it. So it's really good stuff. I'm not going to recommend it to you. It's like illegal in 3 states now. So, you know, and some people have had adverse reactions to it. But from what I've read, it's been used for thousands of years, and no one's ever died from it. Thailand made it illegal because it was cutting into their opium trade. But it's, you know, I don't know. Anything that'll produce drug-seeking behavior essentially will be scheduled in America. We've really gotten tight on that, haven't we? You can't enjoy yourself, Americans. You can go out and get drunk as shit, wreck your car, kill innocent people. Oh, yeah. Get fucked up out of your mind. Drink 2 bottles of Jack Daniels. Run over a crowd of people at the mall. Run them over. You're going to jail, sure, but you were allowed to do that in the first place. Now try to get your hands on some drugs. Now there's a big spotlight on you and a magnifying glass. It's a sad thing, I think. I don't know. Maybe drugs are a bigger problem than I thought. So Joe Seeker came in under his real name this time. I like pill. They make the days better. It depends on the pill, but I semi-agree with that. I'm always an addict, either on or off everything. Yeah, Mr. White, you said you were kind of like you stopped doing everything, but you consider yourself, that's very mature, because like people that stop drinking, have been drinking for say 30 years, and they go through like the 12-step program, they'll say, I am an alcoholic. You know, I haven't touched a beer in 20 years, but I am an alcoholic. That's very mature, and I think it's a little harsh, because yes, you may be weak when you get around alcohol, or if you drink one night, you know you're going to start again. I get that. But when you call someone an alcoholic, it's harsh. It's like, look, if you haven't drank in 20 years, I don't think that's the right term for you, just because you'd still be weak around it. The fact is, you haven't taken a drink in 20 years, so I don't like that. It's almost too much of an indictment against someone. I love drugs. We'll get Oxys back Friday, off them 2 weeks. Mistake. I'll bet it was a mistake, man. But look at it this way, Guy. Your tolerance will have dropped back down a little bit. Now, from what I hear, if you quit a drug and you come back to it, your tolerance not only goes back up to where it was in a fairly short period of time, but it actually climbs a little higher. So I don't know if that's true or not. That's just something I heard. But, you know, the brain, the human mind, we're going to do it with electronics soon, guys. It's going to be a plant. It'll release endorphins and it'll enhance reuptake. And that's really what it's all about. So you can feel high anytime you want, but it's not the way life was meant to be lived. I mean, that's evolved in human beings because of a pain response, something to try to numb the pain some. But who's to say morally or philosophically that it would be wrong to put a small integrated circuit in the brain that could kind of modulate a constant flow of dopamine and more if you started to get tolerance to your own dopamine drops? Who's to say that that's somehow wrong? What if you could go through life high? Wouldn't that be something? And the kind of high that doesn't make you wreck cars, you know? I don't know. I wouldn't have a philosophy problem with that, as long as you had your reflexes. In the chat room, instead of paying for victims, people shouldn't pay that there are no victims. Of course, that would prove the prayer doesn't work. I don't trust prayers. You know, I saw that when the Paris thing happened, something like 79 million people had sent prayers on Twitter, and I'm thinking, if each one of them had sent a fucking euro to the families, that might have made a difference. But they did just come out with an article today, believe it or not. I believe it was either the New York Post or New York Times. I think it was the New York Post. Said after the shooting today, or yesterday, that prayers aren't going to fix this. It was time to say that, because somehow when people say, I'm praying for you, or I'll pray for you, or praying for the victims, first of all, how many of them do you think really do it? How many of them do you think just type it? That's one thing. Secondly, what difference do you think that'll make? Do you think that the same God that just let this disaster happen is going to come in and clean up his mess? I mean, it's not working for me, man. So don't pray for me. Send money. Yeah, send me vaginas, send me money. Don't pray for me. I don't know. Maybe it works. I've heard there are some studies that show group prayers help people heal faster, but I don't know if that's really accurate. Yeah, lots of mass shootings. Never drive under the influence. I think Guy is also a fan of Mothers Against Drunk Driving. I could eat, drink codeine like candy. Vicodin too. I remember my first Vicodin I ever took. It was right before my first back surgery, and it made me drunk. It made me feel drunk. I would turn my head, and my eyes would take a second to catch up. It was freaky, man. And then, of course, your tolerance jumps up, and after that, it was just the normal thing. I was taking the 750s, too, those big fuckers, both before and right after my surgery. That sure was a nice drug while it worked. Loved that feeling. Sorry about that if I just scruffed you guys. We're just bullshitting tonight. Everybody's getting along in the chat room. There's a lot of hate going on speaker right now. We don't have to contribute to that. We don't have to. I think, I told you guys a while ago that I was going to try to walk the path of a Grandpa Al, of a Ernie Abbott. I believe I said his name right. And these guys are relaxed and wouldn't get into the fights. But I also paid a little bit of attention to who's listening to what. And Ernie, most peaceful guy I know. I found out that politically, if I'm reading his show listens right, he definitely leans far right. So he could easily, if he starts sharing his ideology, and I'm correct about his position, really get into some hateful stuff. And that goes for far left people too. These fucking environmental eco-terrorist assault people. Any extreme is, I don't know. I guess we need it to define what normal is, but god damn it, man. We got to do something about the shootings. This is just getting a little crazy. If you're if you're a non-felon, legal citizen of America, I think you should be able to get yourself a firearm. We know that those that cannot get a firearm will find one somehow on the black market. That's also saddening. So, to be honest with you, you either do something extreme like Australia did, which this country would not accept. We'd go to war first with ourselves against the government if you tried to take the guns, or you pour a bunch of money and resources into somehow pinpointing the people that are going to do this so that you can be ready for it. I mean, are we going to get into a situation like Minority Report where we're not seeing the future? That would be impossible. But we could tell who was, say, I don't know, 10 times more likely than the average person to go on a mass shooting spree, and then they would have to be monitored. That's a hell of an invasion of privacy, but if it could save lives, people will go for it, and that's what you need. If you get people backing legislation, it goes through. So something's got to give. I don't know what the answer is for that. I'm really torn on the gun issue in America. I don't know. Maybe we should stop marginalizing people that have mental health concerns and treat them well. In other words, try to help them get better. But I never drive stoned. I used to be a police tow driver. Bad. I'm sure you saw some shit there. Joe and I are really old speaker pals, just spare at times. Fucking Canuck. Yeah, I don't know what he meant by spare, I think. I'm the only guy I know without guns. Yeah, I had a rifle, 22. It was made in 1948, and I don't have that anymore. So at this time, I don't have any guns, but my roommate has plenty, so we're fairly well armed. He's not a real gun guy either, believe it or not. He's more of a collector. And basically, he's been on, let's see, 7. So he's been in combat for 3.5 years. He's got, I think, 7 of those. Guy, you probably know about this, the 6-month in combat stripes. He's got 7 of those, so. Yeah, he's done everything. Got the Bronze Star and all that. But he doesn't talk about it. And only if I ask about it and drill a little bit do I get to find out anything. But what I'm happy to report is he doesn't have any symptoms that I can tell of PTSD, which is really good. Because that shit can take over your life. That's worse than depression. It's like passive-aggressive bipolar. Weird shit. My ex-father-in-law gets 100% VA disability for PTSD from Vietnam. 100%. That's like, God, if I remember right, it's about $3,000 a month, tax-free. So, it's real. But I was watching a documentary on shell shock, PTSD, whatever you want to call it, back from World War I days. And there were a lot of guys faking it because they wanted to get out of the battle. But there are ways to tell. And, I have some formal training in psychology, and one of the things that we learned is how to measure the motivation to tell the truth in a situation like that. And you have to look at a whole big picture, and then you have to look for signs and inconsistencies before you're going to say, okay, this person's probably making this up to get out of duty. But some of it is absolutely real, and your real tough guys won't admit they have it. But yet you'll find them up at 3 a.m. checking the locks on the doors and breaking out into cold sweats. And it's a shame, man. It's real stuff. Once you see your friend's head blown off, how can you look at the world normally again? Guy says, Glocks are my fave, was never against guns ever. Yeah, me neither. I just think we have to do something. I don't know what. I have no idea what the answer is. And I've thought about it, too. I've spent some time thinking about it. Something's got to change. It's got to be some kind of... people need to have some kind of defense so that maybe a shooter could only get 1 round off, and they could instantly hit this blank or aim this blank and stop him right away. Something like that. Who knows? I mean, it's